Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
Israel confirmed that it will not withdraw from 5 Palestinian cities in contrast to an earlier decision. This statement was made by Israeli Defense Minister Shaul Mofaz. Mofaz reiterated that they will only withdraw from 1 city, justifying the decision by saying Palestinian factions continue to attack Israeli targets.
Israel was scheduled to withdraw from Palestinian cities hours ago, but they postponed withdrawing from 5 Palestinian cities, limiting the withdrawal mission to only 1 city. The Palestinian side denounced this action. The new Israeli plan was justified by saying that Israeli locations continue to be the target of Palestinian attacks. The Palestinian diplomats said they are trying to resolve all pending issues with the Israelis in order to end confrontations between the 2 sides.
There are discussions, but they go back and forth. Until now, nothing for sure. I can only give a statement when something is for sure.
Despite the disappointment of the failed negotiations between the 2 sides, the chief Palestinian negotiator, Saeb Erekat, said the issue of withdrawing from Palestinian cities was postponed until the Higher Negotiations Committee meeting between the Palestinians and Israelis. Erekat added that preparations for a meeting between the Palestinian president and the Israeli prime minister are underway and are positive.
At this stage, we will exert all efforts to ensure the success of the meeting between the 2 leaders. But we can't jump to conclusions and discuss the success or failure of negotiations.
Palestinian gunmen attacked a Jewish settlement in the Gaza Strip with mortar shells, meanwhile reiterating that their attacks are in response to the continued Israeli aggression on the ground. In a joint statement, the Palestinian factions said that a truce will not succeed unless Israel stops its aggression.
If the world is concerned with calming things down, then they must pressure the Israeli enemy and force them to stop their aggression against our Palestinian people. If this enemy stops all forms of aggression against our people and complies with the conditions set by the Palestinian forces, starting by releasing the prisoners and the detainees, then yes, we will positively deal with calming the situation down.
Israel promised to withdraw from cities in the West Bank, but did not fulfill its obligations. Clearly, the Palestinian side is disappointed. However, with the approaching meeting between Abbas and Sharon, there is hope that an agreement will be reached regarding the withdrawal.
The Israeli army has reopened the border crossing between Egypt and Gaza, ending a closure it imposed after a deadly attack on troops. For the first time since December, Palestinians with foreign residency permits in humanitarian cases will be allowed to leave Gaza through the Rafah terminal. The opening of the crossing could boost a bid by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to coax a ceasefire from Palestinian factions. Palestinian Prime Minister Ahmed Qureir is in Gaza this week for talks with the factions, including Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Threatening attempts at a truce, 3 mortars launched by Palestinians hit Israeli settlements in the Gaza Strip. It was the 2nd consecutive day Palestinian fighters shelled the Gush Qatif settlement block in retaliation for the death of a 10-year-old Palestinian schoolgirl. The incidents on both sides violated the relative calm that has settled over the Gaza Strip over the past 2 weeks. And Israel's Attorney General has ordered the government to overturn a decision that would confiscate property in occupied East Jerusalem owned by thousands of Palestinians. Under the 1950 law, West Bank Palestinians with property in Arab East Jerusalem could be labeled absentee landowners, allowing the state to confiscate their property without compensation. In a letter to Finance Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is responsible for the law's enactment, the attorney Menachem Mazuz said it was not within the ministerial committee's power to interpret the extent of the authority of the absentee property custodian. The attorney said he was concerned the decision could hurt Israel's international reputation. Clashes broke out between Israeli troops and protesters near Bethlehem. The Israeli daily Haaretz said a decision to enforce the law was taken by Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's cabinet last summer, but not made public. Landowners say they have recently been informed their plots in the city were seized under the absentee property law, even though they live nearby.
This is completely against what we call the roadmap. With this wall, with these confiscations, it will be impossible to implement the roadmap as it has been agreed from the United Nations, Europe, Russia, and the United States of America.
The latest decision of the Israeli government is just the newest link in a chain of harassment and hardship of the Palestinian population, beginning with the initial decision